Hey y'all, welcome back to Indie Flicks. We've reached the finale of Love is Blind UK Season 2. Stakes are high and emotions are raw as the remaining couples walk down the aisle. Who said yes? Who held back? We're going to dive into how it all went down. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like, and leave your comments down below. Let's get into it. So the episode picks up again with Bardha and Jed at the altar and Bardha's decision on whether or not she would like to say I do at the altar. And you could just see the emotion in her face. Jed kind of got straight face as well. And almost like a reaction of hers of just feeling overwhelmed. But she concluded her decision, and to my surprise, Bardha said, no, not at this moment. And literally everyone in the room was shocked. Y'all already know I was shocked because they were the one couple I just knew for sure. I knew for sure. But I guess, I don't know, whatever arguments they've been having since they've been apart, I think that's what maybe has set her back, because she said that, like, right now is not the time. Like, she still wants to be with him. She doesn't want to, like, completely separate, but she doesn't want to make that full commitment until they work things out and they just have longer time to get to know each other. It really just caught me off guard. I was really not expecting that. They were the one couple I just knew for sure was going to be a yes. It's crazy. I don't know where they go. I don't know where they go from here. They're going to do a reunion, so maybe we'll get some information there during the reunion of what those arguments entail, because I'm really curious. What were y'all arguing about? I think they were only separated for like 4 days before the wedding. So what were y'all arguing about? But then again, that may show a lot too, because, when you're up under someone, you try to be on your best behavior, I guess. And then once you're separate, that's when you kind of see what's really real. So maybe that's the case with these two. I don't know, but I feel bad for Jed. I think he was completely caught off guard. His family even asked him, like, what would his answer be? He didn't even answer it for real. Because now I'm curious, would you have said yes if she said yes? But I'm sure it's a lot. Like, I was shocked. I don't know. Were y'all shocked? Were y'all expecting either one of them to say no? Because throughout the season, it didn't seem like anything could break whatever they got going on. And they were for sure headed into marriage. Next, we have Kal and Sarover and preparing for their wedding. And Sarover is very positive about the day. She's looking forward to it. I don't think she has any reservations. I'm pretty sure I knew her answer before they got there, that she was definitely going to be a yes. And Kal had a conversation with his brother about, how he's feeling and the place he's at. He just wants to make sure he's making the right decision. And I was, happy that his brother was like reassuring him, like, look, you have a good girl. You want to start this family. Just trust, basically trust your feelings, trust your heart. Their wedding stood out the most for me because it was not a traditional wedding where the guests enter and then groom comes in and a bride and so forth. Actually, Kal walked in with the guest, so he kind of like led them. They had drummers, which I'm pretty sure has a lot to do with their culture, and he greeted each guest as they walked in to take their seats. So I really like that. That was a cool look to see, and I know it's a lot of you'll see when you watch the episode or this recap. All of the weddings had like a greenery kind of enchanted forest theme going on, which I was here for. I loved it. It was beautiful. Sarover looked so beautiful. She walked in with her dad. Kal looked great as well. And you could tell like they both were just looking at each other in awe. Their vows were beautiful. I will say though, Sarover's vows were Very detailed and lengthy. Kal was kind of short, sweet to the point, which I'm not gonna lie, for me, when I was listening and watching it, I was a little hesitant. I'm like, is he being short for a reason? Is this man about to say no? Like, the nerves were up for me. And of course, they're asked the long standing question, is love truly blind? Sarover was the first one to give her response, and she said, I do. Yes, she still wants to be married. And then it was Kal's turn. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. Because literally everybody in that room, the way this man was intentionally holding off his answer gave everyone in the room, like, what is going on? And his response to wanting to stay married with her was a yes. We got our first married couple from this season in this episode confirmed, Sarover and Kal. They've been through some things. Definitely, I think their biggest thing was the family issue that she had. But once that got cleared up, it was kind of smooth sailing. What I think I'm the most nervous about, because you're in this bubble when you're on shows like this, is what's to come on the outside world. I do still think like they are a good match, they're a good fit, and hopefully they progress in their marriage. But ever since his conversation with his brother and giving off that he's like a ladies man, it just scares me. I don't know. Moreover, also put the wedding up a notch and changed from a traditional wedding gown into an Indian wedding gown. And I think that just goes to show how dedicated she is in her marriage, and for him to pay homage to his culture and his family. All I have to say is, Kal, do not drop the ball, because she really seems like she's that girl. Like, she's gonna be there for you. She's loyal. She's loving. Like, you could just tell is there. She stood up, against her parents and all that. So I just hope he really stays by her side through all this. So again, this is our first confirmed married couple. How are y'all feeling about Kal and Sarover? Are you here for it? Do you also have a little bit of hesitancy? Let me know down in the comments. We then have Kieran and Megan getting ready and prepared for their wedding. And I don't know about y'all. This one I kind of wanted to skip through, because I feel like we all know where it was gonna go. She already said, like, she's a definite yes, and I don't think there was any way Kieran was gonna say no. He's been head over here heels for her from the beginning. They exchanged vows with each other, which were beautiful. They still have that big spark in their love. And when asked on whether or not love is truly blind, of course they both said yes. So again, like I said, this couple, no shock to me. I don't even think they really had anything big or a big hump to go over outside of him making sure that she actually loved him, which she said when they lived together. So this was a quick one. I feel like we could have got through this fast. I didn't see any cracks, for real, for real. The only drama was drama outside of their own situation, dealing with the whole Javen and Katisha thing. But another confirmed married couple. How are y'all feeling about Kieran and Megan? Do you think it's really real, or do you think it's for show? Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes her personality, I question it a little bit. But they're staying together. They're staying together. We'll see what may come out during the reunion, if anything. But they're happy, and that's all that matters. And last but certainly not least, we have Ashleigh and Billy. And this was another couple I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen, because throughout them getting ready, Billy is still on the fence of what he wants to do. He's still in the middle. Ashley's definitely for sure knows where she's going. But Billy's the one. Billy's the one who's hesitant. I understand it to an extent because he's been married before. And he doesn't want to have to do it again. He doesn't want to go through the divorce thing again. The work situation, I guess, was the biggest topic for them. And she feels like, look, we can only work on it when it's time to work on it, right? But then it's like, does that necessarily mean we should get married right at this moment? I don't know. In my opinion, something so big like that, especially with someone who doesn't even still know the day of or what they're going to do, I feel like that should just automatically be a no, and see if y'all can work on it and figure it out before you actually fully commit. But let's get into the wedding day. So as the wedding begins, Billy's waiting on his bride. Ashleigh is walked in by her father, looking beautiful as ever. And of course, she's ecstatic. She writes very good vows for him. And the same thing, like he's wrote very positive, loving vows. And then it comes for the decision. Of course, Ashleigh was a yes. And Billy did the same freaking thing Kal did. We all just staring around looking like, what is your answer, sir? What is it going to be? Is it a yes? Is it a no? And I felt it coming. I felt those letters, those two letters that make up that word coming out his mouth. But to my surprise, Billy said yes. He actually said yes. And you know what? That's good of him because I feel like Ashleigh does deserve it. He said earlier in the episode, him being away from her, he realized how much he really does miss her and he does love her. Now, my only hesitancy is because of him saying that with her job, she's going to be gone. So if you felt that way or felt that strongly about missing her for the 4 days that she was gone, this is going to be a lifestyle. That's something you're going to have to get used to. So I do hope they work it out when we have the reunion and get some updates. I hope that he's been able to, be accustomed to her work life balance and they can figure it out. But there, yes, another confirmed couple on Love is Blind. So for Bardha and Jed, I don't know where it stands. She still wants to be with him. She doesn't want to separate. But with him, the dust does have to settle. Like, this was a big day. And, he's not married. Like, this is probably something he was not expecting because he said with the boys right before they got to the altar that he felt like she was going to say yes. I, I, I don't know, y'all. I really genuinely feel like they could work it out, but I don't know if he is going to let that happen. Like, he may go out and party. I don't know. He may go out and do whatever, but it's unfortunate. It's sad. Kal and Sarover, they got to celebrate their cultural harmony and they got the blessings for both families. So I think their chapter still continues on. I'm very curious of how the real world, melts into their lifestyles and the whole traveling because, they're from two different areas. So I'm wishing nothing but the best for those two. Now, the one couple I thought for sure was going to be a no ended up being a yes, which totally flipped my mind upside down. But since at the altar, he chose Ashleigh. He loved her. He wanted to spend his life with her. Now, let's see how it works, y'all. Let's see how it's going to be, weeks at a time of this new transition. But I do hope the best for her. She really gave her all to him this season, I feel like. I don't feel like she had one moment of hesitancy. So congratulations to Billy and Ashleigh. And Kieran and Megan, they literally had a fairy tale moment. Like, everything from, being emotionally charged, tearful vows. Then they have their dance that they've been practicing with top hats and canes. They're a fun couple. They're very fun. I just want to see what happens when the serious stuff comes in. If it comes in, this may just be their personalities. I don't know them personally. But this finale delivered on expectations with 4 out of the 5 couples walking down the aisle. But Jed and Bardha's decision to pause instead of proceeded, added the emotional depth that we needed, and it left some viewers, including myself, surprised. Kieran and Megan stood out with a joyful wedding. Kal Sarover honored cultural ties beautifully. And Billy and Ashleigh proved that love can conquer doubt. Even if the season felt smoother than season one, its emotional beats landed just differently. Thanks for watching this final recap of Love is Blind UK Season 2. Which couple's journey surprised you the most? Bardha and Jed's? Or Billy and Ashleigh's heartfelt yes? Let me know below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell because the reunion episode is next. And I've got your recap right here on Indie Flix.